This kid went over to his friend's house for the first time, and everything seemed completely normal at first. They played video games, had snacks, had dinner, then everyone was watching TV together in the living room. They're watching some action movie. And then a few minutes in, one of the characters makes the dumbest decision imaginable. Without saying a word, the dad reaches to the side of the couch, grabs what looks like a giant brick, and he just chucks it at the TV. Yeah, come on, idiot! Kid almost has a heart attack. What? But the thing is, it wasn't a real brick. It was styrofoam. It bounced right off the screen and landed on the carpet. And everyone just kept watching the movie. A few minutes later, another character does something stupid. The mom. Oh, come on! You see, the family had a whole stack of these styrofoam bricks on the sides of each seat in the living room. They were there specifically for throwing them at the TV whenever somebody got mad at what was happening there. This kid thought it was the funniest thing ever. So the next weekend, he's home with his family and they're watching TV and something dumb happens. He doesn't have a brick, so he grabs this pillow and he throws it at the TV. But the pillow was a little heavier than the styrofoam. The TV knocked over and unplugged. His dad, now why would you want to do that, son? He just said sorry. He said it was too much work to explain himself, but he did say he loved going over to that friend's house. This kid was very quiet in school, so the bully thought he would be an easy target. On one Monday, the bully put a fake spider on this kid's notebook, expecting him to freak out. He's gonna freak out. But the kid sat down, saw it, and got excited instead. Oh, cool, a spider! Oh man, it's fake! On Wednesday, the bully put a bunch of paper shreddings in this kid's locker, expecting him to get mad that it was so inconvenient. This'll be so inconvenient for him. But no, he started playing in it with his friends. Oh, come on guys! Look at this! It's raining paper! On Thursday, the bully dumped a bucket of water on him. Oh, thank you so much, man. It's a hot one today. After that, the bully just stood there. He didn't know what to do anymore. He turned around, walked away, and he never messed with that kid again, because no matter what he did, the kid had the time of his life. This kid's dad owned a self-storage facility, those places that have tons of those storage units that look like garages. Well, one summer, this kid asks his dad, "Dad, can I please use one of the storage units as a hangout place for my friends?" His dad said, "Okay, son, you can use one unit." So every Saturday, this kid would go, unlock the unit, and he would bring a bunch of stuff there. Him and his friends dragged in an old couch, a TV, a mini fridge, a folding table, a carpet. They had an extension cord. They were playing Xbox. At first, it was just 4 of them. This is awesome, right, guys? Then somebody else. Pretty soon, every afternoon, there was like 20 middle schoolers hanging out at this storage unit. It was like the world's smallest clubhouse, but it was awesome. There were rules. There was snacks and drinks in the fridge. Their very own secret headquarters. The funniest part, all these kids' parents thought they were just hanging out at somebody's house. This went on for the entire summer. Then one afternoon, one of these kids' moms has her pick him up at this place. She gets there and she's like, "This isn't somebody's house." But then she sees a bunch of bikes out front, so she goes inside. She looks around. She starts hearing a noise. What is this? She knocks on the unit door where the noise is coming from. They open it, and she sees like 15 guys playing Xbox inside. What's going on here? Oh no! And instead of being a cool mom, she was super mad. Threatened to call the police. Threatened to expose this kid's dad. And after that, it was shut down. And all I know is, that mom sucks. There was a family who kept the same gallon of unopened chocolate milk for 6 years. When the dad bought it 6 years ago, nobody was allowed to drink it. He was convinced that unopened food and beverage would become a collectible and rare over time. He started referring to the milk as an investment. Every few months, he would take it out of the fridge, polish it down, and put it back in the exact same spot. The kids weren't even allowed to move it. One afternoon, the son was moving it around looking for a juice box in the fridge. Careful! That could pay for your college one day! Sure it will, Dad. Sure it will. He's insane. They all thought their dad was insane, but the dad kept researching old food online, on eBay, and kept showing the family. See, look, this unopened bag of chips sold for $2 grand last year. Yeah, Dad, that's chips. You're saving milk. Eventually, he bought a tiny refrigerator just to keep this gallon of milk in, and he put a lock on it. The family begged him to throw it away every single day, but he wouldn't. By the end of year 6, this gallon of milk was getting swollen. And one night, they heard a pop coming from the garage. He goes in there. The milk carton had exploded in that tiny fridge that he bought. The smell was so bad, they had to hire a crime scene cleanup company to come and clean it up. This kid said his dad wouldn't stop crying for days. That's pretty sus. Back in the day, McDonald's had the craziest deals. Every Wednesday, hamburgers were only 25 cents, but the catch was only 10 per person. Well, this kid's parents were divorced, and they were with their dad every Wednesday. So every Wednesday after work, this dad would pull into McDonald's with his two kids. They'd each get into different spots in line, and they would each buy 10 hamburgers. The kids thought it was awesome. This is awesome, Dad. I love McDonald's.
Yeah, Dad, I like it too.
I'm happy, kids. 30 hamburgers. They'd go back to their dad's apartment. They'd all eat hamburgers. Then the dad would wrap all leftover hamburgers in tinfoil and put them in the freezer. And that was that. The kids would then get picked up by their mom, and the dad would use those burgers to feed themselves. And because the kids were only at their dad's house one night a week, the dad would use the burgers to feed himself. Every other day, he would come home from work to an empty apartment, take a burger out of the freezer, heat it up, eat it, rinse and repeat. Then the next Wednesday when the kids would come over, they'd go to McDonald's again. That was his routine. And it wasn't because he liked McDonald's that much. It was because 25-cent hamburgers were pretty much all he could afford. But the thing is, those Wednesdays were some of the kids' favorite memories ever. They just didn't realize their dad was eating them every single day because he was broke. This kid slammed the classroom door so hard it cracked. The school called his parents and made them pay $400 to buy a new door. The kid wasn't happy. You know what? I'm not happy. But him and his family handed over the money. Then weeks go by, then a month. That same cracked door was still attached to the classroom. That's what they used every day. One afternoon, he asked the janitor, "Weren't they gonna replace this door with the money I paid them?" Janitor said, "Oh, I think that money went towards something else." Oh, that ticked him off. The next day, the kid came to school with a drill. His dad's drill. He walked straight up to that damaged door, unscrewed the hinges, picked up the entire thing, and he began walking towards the parking lot. A teacher came running over. What are you doing? Listen, I paid for this door. I gave you guys $400. You said you were gonna get a new one. If you're not getting a new one, I'm taking my door. The principal made him put it back. Then the school installed the replacement door the same week. That's honestly hilarious. This kid would fight with his sister every day about who got to use the TV remote. They only had one television, and whoever had the remote in their possession would control what everyone watched. One afternoon, this kid grabbed it and switched on his favorite show, but he turned off the show his sister had been watching. Hey, that's not fair. Yeah, it's fair enough. She climbed across the couch. She grabbed his wrist, and they started wrestling for the remote. The mom yelled from the kitchen, "If I have to come in there, nobody's watching TV for the rest of the week." They froze for about 3 seconds. Then they continued fighting. His sister finally snapped. She ripped the remote out of his hands and smacked him in the face. It didn't really hurt at first, but then it stung. He walked to the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror, and that's when he saw it. Oh my God. There was a perfect rectangular mark on his face, and inside the rectangle, backwards but completely readable, it said, "Made in China." Oh God! Their mom took one look at it and knew exactly what happened. Both of the kids were grounded from TV for the rest of the week, but that mark remained on his face for a long time. He was walking around looking like he'd been manufactured overseas. That's insane. This family had no air conditioning, and they owned one fan. There were 3 kids, 4 bedrooms, parents, and one for each kid. And every night, the fan would rotate rooms. Monday it was in one room, Tuesday the next room, Thursday the next room, and so on. After it rotated through all rooms, it would start over. And this was not negotiable. These are the rules, kids. Now imagine it's 100 degrees outside. You finally crawl into bed, and then you remember, oh crap, it's not my night for the fan. You would lay there, sweating, listening to the fan going in your siblings' room. And sure, they complained, but they all dealt with it because that's just the way things were. It's another story. The family couldn't afford another fan, so they all just dealt with it. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. On the first day of class, this teacher walked in and wrote his name on the board. Mr. Stevenson. He told everyone to open their textbooks, and that was his entire teaching method. That entire class, he made the students copy, word for word, everything that was in chapter 1. Well, students started asking questions. Why did the Roman Empire fall, Mr. Stevenson? He would just say, it should tell you in your textbook. Who won the War of 1812? It should tell you in your textbook. Well, what year did World War II end? That's not in the chapter, but the textbook should tell you. Shortly after that, the principal walked in. Excuse me, who are you? I'm Mr. Stevenson. Sir, you don't work here. I was coming in because the sub never showed up. Mr. Stevenson wasn't a teacher the school hired. Mr. Stevenson was just some random guy that showed up to that school that day, walked into that classroom, and pretended to teach the class. The police did come, and he did get a fine. That's insane.